What a difference a light makes. Hello guys, how are you? David DeFranco here from davidthefranco.com, which I did not open and prepare myself for. Go to the forum. Anyway, davidthefranco.com/ask. That is your forum. Seriously guys, that forum is all about you. It's basically your chance to, one, ask a very interesting question that could turn into a video such as this one, and two, to plug yourself, your Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LO. I'm kidding about LO. This is your chance for exposure, and I'm shocked that people are not including their YouTube URL or Twitter or anything like that. So if you want exposure, make sure you credit yourself. Believe me, it can help, especially if you're just getting started in the world of content creation. Okay, so today's question comes from Alien. Alien says, what do you think the Mac Pro will even be in the next decade? Now, this is a great question because it's no secret. Apple has kind of shifted focus from the pro market to the consumer market. And honestly, you can't blame them. They're a business. What sells, sells. I mean, iPhones sell. iPods are still selling fairly well, I'm sure. Macs are selling great. So obviously, Apple's going to focus on that market the most. But I will say this, I do believe people are fairly dramatic when they say that, oh, Apple, they have completely forgotten about the pro market. I'm sorry, I just can't agree with that statement completely. I can agree to a certain extent, but not 100%, because they have not forgotten about the pro market. Look at the Mac Pro. Okay, yes, that has not been updated in almost 3 years already. 3 years is a long time, and honestly, that's just pathetic. Shame on you, Apple. You need to update the Mac Pro. I don't care if you just slap in a new CPU. Just update it. Show us prosumers that you still care about us. And I know you still care, but you need to care more. Anyway, going back to my point, Apple put a ton of R&D into a single product, that is the Mac Pro. So that's my way of saying, yes, Apple still does care about the pro market. For example, Final Cut Pro 10. While most people probably prefer Adobe Premiere over Final Cut, not me. I freaking love Final Cut Pro 10. It's great. Apple puts out updates all the time for Final Cut Pro 10. So that's another reason why I think Apple has not exactly forgotten about the pro market. And just recently, they have officially killed the Thunderbolt Display, which I think is a good thing. That only means one thing. Eventually, they're gonna come out with a standalone 5K display. And I think that's incredible. Now, obviously this is not a fact, but still, I mean, being an Apple enthusiast like myself, it's not that difficult to predict Apple's future when speaking about specific products. So yes, I do strongly believe the Mac Pro will be updated. Again, it's pathetic that it has not been updated in nearly 3 years. It's a long ass time. But yes, I mean, it will be updated. And I also believe that we will see an official Apple 5K display. I mean, look at the iMac 5K. Just gotta take that thing out of the iMac, make it its own display, you know, its own product, and boom, you have a hopefully somewhat affordable 5K display. Now, even with that said, I'm always going to prefer displays from LG and Dell because one, they're usually larger. For some reason, Apple's not interested in making a display larger than 30 inches. But even with that said, the Thunderbolt display was 27 inches. I just say 30 inches because the old Cinema display maxed out at 30 inches. Now, will they make one larger than that? I mean, it would be nice, but again, I just don't see that happening. And that's exactly why I like LG and Dell displays. This LG 4K display right here to my left is 31 inches. And honestly, that's still not big enough for me. I'm really intrigued by the new Dell 4K display. I forget the exact size, but I know it's at least 40 inches or so. And that's nice. That could be a 1-to-1 pixel ratio. And if it is, just sign me up. I mean, I think it's only like $1,400. I say only because I don't think that's a bad price. So yeah, I mean, chances are pretty damn good that I will be buying that for myself before 2016 comes to a close. Hey, we're halfway there, so I gotta get it sooner or later. Okay, Alien, going back to your original question, long answer short. The Mac Pro's feature, I think it's gonna be around for quite some time. Unfortunately, I don't see Apple updating it as often as they should, in my opinion, but I don't see them exactly killing it off. I mean, sure, it probably has like, what, 1% of the Mac desktop market, but I think that's enough. There's always gonna be people like myself who prefer a standalone desktop and something that's much more powerful than the Mac Mini. And well, that's exactly why I love my Mac Pro. The iMac is very tempting, but I hate the idea of buying something that's smushed into a display. Okay, so yes, it's a very impressive achievement in engineering, and I'm not denying that whatsoever. The iMac is just downright beautiful, but I like standalone desktops. And yes, I know there's always the Mac Mini, which is more capable than people give it credit for. But for serious content creators like myself, they're always going to prefer a much more powerful solution, and that's exactly why the Mac Pro exists. Now finally, let me wrap up my answer by saying this. If you're thinking about buying a Mac Pro in the next 6 months or so, don't. Believe me, you are not getting your money's worth. You are quite literally paying a minimum of $3,000 for a machine that is nearly 3 years out of date. So don't do it, which is actually very interesting for me to say it because just in my last video about Apple killing the headphone jack in the iPhone 7, I had a few people say, David, I would love to see the day when you don't agree with Apple. Or David, you always agree with Apple. No, I don't. I mean, you just gotta pay attention to things I say. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Apple's not a perfect company. They never have been, and they never will be. But man, am I a fan for life. Honestly, I am. So Alien, there you go. There's my answer. Hopefully I answered it in the way that you were expecting. But you know what? Stay tuned for more Mac Pro coverage in hopefully the coming months, because I do have a good feeling that the Mac Pro will finally be updated this fall. Maybe. Don't hold your breath. And now to segue into today's course recommendation from lynda.com/David, that is called Switching from Windows 10 to Mac. Now this course is exactly what it sounds like. It's gonna give you high quality information and tips in regards to what it's like switching from Windows 10 to OS 10, which by the way will soon be called Mac OS. So keep that in mind. Anyway, this course teaches you the ins and outs of OS 10, including how to take advantage of Mission Control, which by the way, I cannot live without. Mission Control is just a godsend, and so much more. I'm a big fan of OS 10. I've been a Mac user for over 10 years now, and I honestly never see myself switching back. So if you are thinking about switching from Windows 10 to OS 10, definitely check out that course. But guys, that is just the beginning. lynda.com/David has so much more to offer, including video courses for photography, web design, graphic design, business, blogging, and the list goes on and on. Take my word when I say this, you need to check out lynda.com/David. You get 10 free days of unlimited access to thousands of high quality video courses. Do yourself the favor and learn something new, because you know what? That new skill that you pick up could lead to jobs, new opportunities, content creation, whatever. Everything in life starts with one thing, and that one thing in this case is a video course. So take advantage of this while you can. And of course, huge thanks to lynda.com/David for making this possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep these questions coming in over at davidfranco.com/ask. Don't forget, the more questions that I can get, the better. So come on, throw them at me. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.